All right. Thank you. All right. Are we set? We're live? Thank you very much. Welcome to Geezy Truth News. Thank you very much, everyone. How is everyone doing? All right. Well then. Fantastic. Well then, it is October 28th, 2016. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it went pretty quick. This week went pretty quick. It was a very fast, slow week. What that means is that it was very fast and not any news, not very important news that I, came up with. Nothing that I found. I mean, I'm sure if you dig enough info, something's always happening. But the one big thing that happened, I'll tell you, is this is something else. This is something else. So, the FBI... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me first announce that my audio engineers are contacting me, telling me that there may be just some technical difficulties on the show, and listeners beware that if there's any technical glitches on the other side of the network that may happen, and that's just a heads up. Thank you very much, audio engineers. Anyway, it's happy Friday, everybody. That's always great news. A lot of stuff going on. So anyway, and callers call in, please, of course. Callers will always call in. We'll put you on hold if there's if we need to discuss something important, and my team will get you to me ASAP. So anyway, the big news of the week was that the FBI reopened the investigation for Hillary Clinton. And that is just something else. And not only that, and this is the huge thing, not only that, if you notice, I don't watch mainstream media, but my sources tell me that at the same time that the FBI reopened the investigation on Hillary Clinton, is that the mainstream media, started not, bashing Johnny Boy as bad, and they're finally talking about Hillary Clinton, finally talking about all this, because they never talk about her. They always bashed Donny Boy. And so, it's, that's the big kerfuffle right now. So we'll see. And it's amazing, because it's like, less than 10 days for the election? And so, this is going to be something. So, how is everybody doing? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We got to address the issues at hand here. We got a lot of problems, obviously. A lot of people unhappy. We have to address these issues. And we have to talk about a lot of things and what we need to do for this country to make it better. And it's up to us with our independent media. It's very important for all of us to have independent media. That we need to all report on all our facts and truths. And none of the hocus pocus baloney that they've been feeding us. So let's bippity bop on and continue the tinkety tonk. See what the hippity hap is up, and let's checkity check out all the stuff. So I'll have to admit I didn't really do much research this week. It's been the week went far too fast, and nothing that I can say. I really would like to focus on the election, what everybody thinks, what everybody's talking about the election, what might think. And so, yeah. So, the thing about all this is, it's like crows on a power line. When one starts flying, they all start flying. And I think that's what happened with the FBI investigation. They reopened it because they were getting critiques. Obviously, people were critiquing. Are you serious? I mean, the FBI. James Comey. He said that, Chia, like nothing's wrong, everything's chill. She is dismissed, which is ridiculous. I mean, it is just absolute redonkulous that we would even accept that as an answer. So, with them reopening it, it could be numerous things. Anything can happen. I'm not saying anything that but I think that the best thing that can happen, I think that the media is like, okay, well, we're gonna have to do our job. We're gonna have to do our actual job and actual report on this. Otherwise, we're gonna lose credit. We're gonna lose our name, our reputation. Not that it hasn't been destroyed already. So, yeah. And callers call in. And yeah. So yeah. So anyway. Poof. The bottom line is, there's going to be a big stink when all this bibbity bop is going to happen. It's very exciting news. It's going to be, November 8th. November 8th is going to be the day that we're going to figure all this out. And it's really going to lay down the history. Well, I mean, obviously for the next, I'd say, several decades. I mean, it depends on where we want to go and what we're going to do. I'm assuming it's going to be Donnie Boy or Hillary. And if Hillary wins, there's going to be obviously more of the same bull sneezy type, like problematic, dysfunctional running of our nation. We're gonna bomb a bunch of more places and more stuff. I mean, look at over the past 2-3 administrations. If you look at all the places that what we did, I mean, I'm shocked that the American people either don't care or don't know or unaware. And I mean, it's just that's just something else. So I mean, it seems like a lot of people are finally waking up and finally realizing. So I think that with Donnie Boy, I mean, he's who knows? People say that he's a wild card. But I mean, there are checks and balances in our government, and if he's too wild, then we'll hold on to him. But I think that he's going to, he's ran a bunch of businesses, like 400 or 500 businesses. He went bankrupt 4 times from those 4 businesses, but the other 396 or however how much are left were all successful. So that was when you look at politicians, they don't have anything. They're generally just inherit the power from birth or whatever. They usually just are born into the family, into the money or whatever. And I don't know if I mentioned on the last show, it was kind of important that just clicked to me while we're talking about all this, is that John Kerry's daughter, she did like a grant thing. She signed up for a grant for something. You guys can look into it more. And bottom line, she won like a lot of money. I don't know if I remember if it was like $600,000 or more or what. But so she won this money because it's obviously rigged, and every other person that qualified or that tried to get the grant got disqualified. And John Kerry's daughter just so happened to be the only person and won that grant. So, I mean, what are you gonna do about all that? About all those cherries and berries? What are you gonna do about it? Gotta wake up, America. You gotta wake up. I mean, these guys, they used to hide it, and now they're just doing it in front of your faces. And this is just disgraceful. Our founding fathers are literally rolling in their graves right now. They're just like poof, like pippity pop. That ain't nothing to talk about. Ain't nothing to even say about all that. So, anything else in the election? I mean, that's pretty much the biggest thing. Now, I don't recall if that ever happened to any other president where, I mean, what are the chances? Hillary's under investigation now, again. What are the chances of her winning while being under investigation and becoming the president? What does that mean? I mean, how can you not... I mean, what is this? How can you make someone the leader of our country that is being investigated by the FBI? Not that it means much, because they're all compromised. Which brings to another point. I mean, you can talk conspiracy theories all you want. Whether the fact they're all doing this on purpose is a who's who question, you know. I mean, only Hoot Hoot the Owl can answer that one. That so only Bonnie and Clyde can take a little hint on that one. So callers call in. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the hippity hap is. Let's see what you guys have to say. Really want to take a look-see and see what's going on. So yeah. It's something else. Let's see what we got over here. But yeah. I mean, how exciting. Some exciting times. And you'd think that it's only up from here. You'd think it's only up from here. I mean, this is just some bull sneezy, what's going on right now. And, it's gonna be a little bit of something, a lot of things. So anyway, Oh, look, we have a caller, but this looks like a caller that we don't need to take. Let's talk about things that I want to talk about that are all tied in. It's nothing with the election, even though I'd like to talk about the election, but there's really not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, it's just you gotta support the underdog. You gotta support the anti-establishment. You don't want to vote for the establishment. Why would you want to vote for the establishment? It's too late. I'm not trying to convert anybody. Uh, that's all done and gone. I mean, there's a week and 3 days left for the election, so that doesn't mean it don't mean squeezy. But what's important to know is the facts of the matter. And so the fact of the matter is that Hillary is an insider. Hillary is establishment. Hillary has been caught over and over again lying, jumping around between and in and all that. The private discussions, the private speeches that she denies saying anything, the secrecy of her foundation. She doesn't want to say anything about that. It's none of her beeswax. It's, I mean, the emails, Benghazi, all the, all the smibbity smim bombs. I mean, this is just, it's all just the same old snip snop. You know, what can I say? So anyway, when you guys want to call in, you guys can call in and we could talk about all that. But what's really time for is little secrets that I want you guys to know, and if you already know, great. Call in, talk about it. Make your own show, talk about it, or report it. Do everything you can. I mean, we got a lot of snip snop here. I mean, phew. So pretty much we talked about a little bit about false flags in the earlier episodes. I just want to name off some false flags that were actually admitted to as well. So that's a big deal. Let's see. So if I had some good ones to mention that are relevant today, I mean, there's a lot of ones, but there's one that over here in the 50s, the CIA admits that it hired Iranians in the 50s to pose as communists and stage bombings in Iran in order to turn the country against its democratically elected prime minister. That is well known to some people. Other things unknown at all. And I want to talk about a couple of the operations that our agencies have done that may have not been so nice. They merit some questions, some eyebrows raised. You guys heard about well, let's talk about first about Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird. Those of you who are familiar with it, it's just a plan to just propaganda the sneezy out of our media and just brainwashing, just doing the, the subversion of the free press by the CIA. And I'm sure you could learn about it, a lot of it, online. You guys gotta talk about all this. There's just so much sneezy going on. That's been around for a while, obviously. I mean, I don't know when it was made, but I'm sure it was somewhere around after World War II. So, looks like here's a quote from Harry Truman on December 22, 1963, 1 month after the JFK assassination. Quote, "And at times a policy-making arm of the government, I never had any thought that when I set up the CIA that it would be injected into peacetime cloak and dagger operations." End quote. By former President Harry Truman. And that was posted on the Washington Post. So, everybody's got to be vigilant and know what's up. So, yeah. Callers call in. Talk about all the good stuff. Let's see your opinions. Let's hear, ask questions. Let's see what we got. The COINTELPRO. Operation COINTELPRO. It's lots of spying and lots of experiments that weren't very they weren't acknowledged by anybody, and it was kind of a, I mean, these were secret operations. A lot of people wonder, how do we find, if these are so secret, how do we know about all this sneezy? How do we know that, what anything is? If these guys are so good at advertently changing up things and copying and pasting and whatever, well, let me tell you. COINTELPRO was discovered in March 1971 when secret files were removed from an FBI office and released to a news media. Freedom of information requests, lawsuits, and former agency public confessions deepened the exposure until a major scandal loomed. To control the damage and reestablish government legitimacy in the wake of Vietnam and Watergate, Congress and the court compelled the FBI to reveal part of what it had done and to promise it would not do it again. Much of what has been learned, and copies of some of the actual documents, can be found in the readings listed at the back of this historical operation that was coined, ironically, COINTELPRO. So, I'd say it's a lot of very interesting history. History repeats itself. Who knows what they got in store for us now? Obviously, they're all jumbling around, not knowing what to do. They don't know what to do. What else is there to talk about? There's just so much stuff. I mean, everybody's got to understand and realize what they want. Do they want this country to continue its pace of nothingness? We're decreasing. We're not doing anything. We're going down. We may be number one in the GDP, but we are very fastly decreasing, while others are increasing. And it's very important for everybody to know, to learn and know. Uh, like I said, I really want to talk about the election. I think it's really important for people to know what's going on. That we talked about the violence and the videos, the video clips of them catching the DNC, the head of the one of the heads of the DNC that are running, you know, and hiring people to do dirty work and cause violence and riots at Trump rallies and all kinds of stuff. And they're finding out that the only people that are causing violence are the Hillary supporters. And it's and I'm not trying to be biased, but I mean, I'm looking at these videos here, and it says Clinton Nazis attack the homeless guarding Trump's star. And I guess it's not. This is not looking good. I mean, both sides are angry. I mean, they're fueling. It's again with the fueling of the anger and the violence. I mean, people need to understand that violence is not the answer. It's really not doing much. Unless it's unless it's like it's at the very bottom of the list. That's the last thing that a person needs to do. And let me tell you, this is not the last thing. Going and beating up people and inciting violence and all this stuff is just not. I mean, we're in the 21st century. We can figure things out. It's amazing. I mean, it seems like it's almost as we're going backwards. So, need to talk about this important stuff and think about the real sneezy. Over in the world news, I read that Putin, decreased his involvement in Syria for now. He's laying low. I think he's laying low until after the election to see what's going on. And obviously that's smart because nobody wants war and you just don't know what could happen. And so lots of interesting things. Oh, the new Bill Clinton news is that he got 17 he just got a new job. It's going to be $17 million over 5 years. He's going to do a few speeches and that he's going to get $17 million over 5 years to do a few speeches. And there you go. You know, with the Clinton network, with the Clinton news, they're always hustling to make some Benjis. Always trying to do something. So that's very exciting around all those times. Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you care about your, I mean, personally, in my opinion, it seems that if you care about your country and you want it to, get better and make it great again, then you have to go outside the status quo. They're trying real hard to, who knows what they're trying to do. I mean, they obviously, it seems like when you mention all the wars that we made, it's all for, I mean, just like everything else, it's all for money. And it's just making money. I mean, you know about the Contra deal. That's what started it. One of the main things, the Contra deal. They smuggled a bunch of weapons and sold them to the Colombians. The Contra deal in the 80s. And sold a bunch of arms to the Colombians, and they smuggled the drugs from there to America. And, to make the tip-top deal, to make the tip-top money. And from there, that's how you make money in the money junkie world. So yeah, it's real something. So yeah, let's see. There's our whole banking system. We talked about private central reserve banking earlier on the earlier episodes. And, who knows how that's going to be? What's going to come up from there? That's going to be, people should call in and talk about all that. See what's going on. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I really did not prepare for this. But I didn't want to let down my listeners. That there's always something to talk about. I'm just looking at all this stuff. Always something to talk about. Let's see. I'm just like trying to think of everything from my head over here. That no-fly zone that Clinton is trying to do. The no-fly zone is just ridiculous because Syria is a sovereign nation. And Syria is a sovereign nation, and we're trying to implement a no-fly zone, which means that nobody can do any of that. Nobody can fly over there besides us, which is absolutely ridiculous. And that straight up is like, that's right there is an act of war. So because if they're not gonna listen to it. They're not gonna listen to the no-fly zone. If Putin and Assad are like, well, screw you and your no-fly zone, we're gonna do whatever we want. And then if we try to enforce that right there can cause so many problems. And I can't believe the suggestion of that would even happen, because that's just stupid. That the suggestion of a no-fly zone in the first place in a sovereign nation is just one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. And we have these professional politicians, these professional criminals, saying all this stupid ass sneezy to do all of this. So, but again, back with the election, it's it's really important to vote, even if you don't want to, even if you don't care. You need to vote. I don't care if you put yourself in. I don't care. I mean, rather you not, but it's your right and your duty. You should definitely care about a matter of something of such importance as this. And even with all the fraud and all the corruption going on, I think that the American people will succeed, will win, if they stick together. Because if we don't, they're trying to disenfranchise us. They're trying to destroy us on who we are and what we think. And that's just wrong. Everybody's needs to be back to reality, realize what's going on. And yeah, I don't know. I just wish it was a bit easier than this, but we're definitely going to find out, regardless, on November 8th, on what's going to happen. I think that there just needs to be some discussion on what we should do on both, on who would win on both sides. So, with Clinton, I mean, if there's just going to be another 8 years of the least that could happen is just another 8 years of nothingness, another 8 years of Obama, another 8 years. Which, by the way, after Obama, the Federal Reserve has been very nice to Obama. The next person, regardless on who wins, they're going to raise the interest rates, and it's going to crash the market, and it's going to do something. It's going to, which a lot of people are saying that's a good thing anyway, so it can correct the market. But I feel like that's the wrong way of viewing things. I mean, why run a system? Why go by this system that isn't working? Why say that? I hear a lot of people say don't rock the boat. Why not rock the boat if the boat sucks? I mean, we can plan a much better boat. Plan and construct a much better boat. And there's a lot of different things. I mean, at the very least, it needs to be, again, legitimately backed by, physicality. Before the Nixon rush, before he got rid of it. I mean, that is why we're talking such huge numbers. How much more can we let these numbers run until it all just crashes? It's all just a fool's game. There's a story in Hong Kong where there's a British banker. He killed a couple prostitutes in a drunken and coked out range. And he just got, this is the least of what bankers do to people. I mean, there's quotes from bankers not too long ago, in 2008 and 2011 or 2009, and I think in 2011, there's CEOs, top officials of bankers saying that, first of all, we are bankers. We don't care about we have no obligations to uphold goodness. We have no obligations to do good. So I'm a banker, so you can F off. I don't need to do anything good or bad. So that I think if there's room for error in a system like that, I think there needs to be a change. And it's quite obvious, in my opinion, but maybe not so much to others. So, I think we'll be right back